the button, please, sir. Well, thank you. Good afternoon. And welcome to Southpaw Tales from the Barstool, co-founded by what's-his-face over here with the gorgeous beard. What's-his-face and his microphone blindly. That is talent, people. So first off, let me welcome you. So second of all, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission for us to use your name. Otherwise, I'm just going to call you Snuffle Britches tonight. Why? Because I can't. It's my fucking show. I love y'all so much, though.
Our fucking show.
Hello there. Yeah. So I'm the hot, smart, and funny one, Kat, and next to me is Southpaw. Say hello, Southpaw.
I should wave with my Southpaw, right? Hello.
So, if you were an avid watcher, you know that I was out last week because I had bronchitis, a little residual cough, but I'm alive. Yay!
After lots and lots of medication.
Live to bust JD's balls another day. So here I am, alive and well. So tonight, we are going to be meeting with a wonderful man named Eric Ranks. He actually made this 22 Salute vodka that we had in the show previously. We are both going to be making our own separate drinks tonight with this said vodka. Mine is not going to hide it. I am making a straight up martini. Dad, what you drinking?
I'm drinking the Kentucky Russian. It's kind of like a white Russian, but instead of the Kahlua, using a bourbon cream made by Buffalo Trace. It tastes exactly like after you eat all the ice cream out of a root beer float, all that's left is the root beer.
Yeah, man.
It tastes just like that. You can't taste the alcohol. It kind of helps that 22 Salute is filtered 22 times, representing the 22 lost veterans to mental health issues daily. So,
absolutely.
FYI, we're not sponsored by these guys. I just absolutely fucking love their product. I'm not a vodka drinker, and I'm fucking hooked. So thank you, Eric, for this.
I am a vodka drinker, so thank you, Eric. So if you like our podcast, please go to any platform. We're on YouTube, StreamYard, whatever.
All your favorite podcasting platforms.
Favorite podcasting platforms. Go ahead and like and share, and finger blast those like buttons and tongue blast those share buttons and all of that fancy stuff. So our drink tonight, you mixed it last week, didn't you? Yeah. So is everyone good? Does everyone know how to make JD's drink?
Yeah, we're just gonna go. Okay. We're just moving forward.
Super. I'm going to make a martini the way I like it. I usually only drink martinis on the days I have bad days at work. I work in the medical field. Some days you lose a patient and it's not a good day. Today was not that day. Today was a good day. So today is a celebratory martini.
Man, I wish I had Ice Cube on
vodka martini.
Queued up. Today was a good day.
Keep Jen the fuck away from me. So I like mine filthy. Slap your whore mother in the mouth dirty. And then I like to take a little vermouth and just whisper vermouth to it. There we go.
Just enough to add a little pink.
Yeah,
because everybody likes a little pink in their life.
Is it pink?
I mean, if it's not, you have your shit checked out.
I meant the ew. Okay, that's nasty. Okay,
I was talking about your vermouth. You should have your vermouth checked if it's not pink.
Don't even be nasty. Sure,
it's
you're
kind of what
not
we're known
sure.
For. So, Nick Ron,
beautiful,
is here. He's been on the show several times before. He's going to be on the show again. Thank you for tuning in, brother. I see your comments there, and you are very, very welcome.
And this is a Martina Rita, okay? I know that I'm using a margarita glass. I don't have a martini glass. I am a martini drinker who doesn't own martini glasses. Okay, my life makes me sad too.
You can't find them in the liquor stores. It's fucking weird. You can find every other kind of glassware except for fucking martini glasses.
I'm gonna have to check Goodwill. So first, let's taste it, and then let's get into our sponsors.
While she's tasting that, Mark with a K has tuned in. Thank you, Mark. Good to see you, Mark. I know that you're pushing your newest product, your Hardscape book. Put your link in the comments real quick while we're doing this. And no, absolutely fuck not.
It's so good.
So
you look, okay. I love martinis, but you can't hide the vodka behind it. So the vodka has to be good. This is good. This is real good. So that is delicious. Do you want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah. Right before we bring Eric on, let's do like we do every week and thank our sponsors and give them what they pay for.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much the only time that we're professional-ish during this shit show.
Legitimately the only time. So let's start with our oldest, greatest, latest Sponsor 5x5 Brewing Company, Battleborn, Texas made veteran brewing company based in Mission, Texas. Co-founded by Army vet George Rice with beers like the 40mm Stout, Burnett Bombshell, and Fubar. It's no surprise this brewery is taking over the Texas market from the Valley to the Panhandle. Ask your local bar, restaurant, and grocer to start carrying 5x5 Brewing Company today. You can get their information at 5x5brewing.com, facebook.com/5x5brewing. You can call them at 956-445-5421, or you can email them at info@5x5brewing.com. Also, I would look on their website. They have lots of events coming up over the summer, lots of live events. It's going to be a blast.
Lots of seasonals.
We're going to have to take a trip down there and get a pony keg anyway, so we're just going to have to make a trip and do one of the shows.
More than one.
At least one.
Yeah.
Next, we have OMOG Construction with Marines vet Seth Knox and Matt Anders, general contractor servicing the greater Houston, Texas area with a focus on concrete. No job too big or too small, from residential to commercial and industrial foundations and pads. OMOG Construction has you covered. You can get their information at omogco.com, facebook.com/omogco, or Instagram OMOGCO.
Amako, that stands for one Mexican, one Wedo.
And Wedo is for white person.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
We all know.
We all know.
Our next sponsor is Quickstart Mortgage Group, powered by UMortgage, founded by Nathan Einkorn. You can reach him at Einkorn. That's Einkorn at umortgage.com. Give him a call at 720-980-9988. Facebook is at Quickstart Mortgage Group, and Instagram is Colorado Mortgage Broker. It's the convenience of an online lender, only with better rates and a dedicated staff of highly trained mortgage brokers to make sure your mortgage process goes smoothly. They are also extremely versed in VA home lending practices. So if you have any questions, reach out to those guys. They're going to get you hooked up for goddamn sure, because that's what they do. And finally, yeah, this is where I toot my horn. Our last sponsor for tonight.
I haven't drank enough.
Is my favorite business magazine, Shift Advanced Life Design, founded by Air Force veteran Robert Garcia. I've been featured in it 3 times. And in fact, the entire staff is Air Force, either active duty, veteran, reserve, guard. I think retired too. I don't know. But like me, as a featured person, also Air Force, but I've been featured in there 3 times.
There it is again.
I had to say it. But Shift has all kinds of great business advice, interviews, and more. I've been featured 3 times. Okay,
drink.
I'm done.
Everyone, we're turning into a drinking game. You drink 3 times.
It's a drinking game from here on out. Yeah, every episode in the future. Oh yeah.
Oh.
So just a good way to pregame. But yeah, that's our sponsors for the night. Thank you all for sponsoring this.
Last but not least, we're going to talk about our editing and distribution. I'm going to get this. Oh my gosh.
Words.
You passed it on. You should have heard this guy. He was before the show started. He turns it on as soon as the camera's on, and I'm like off fumbles. So that is brought to you by Knucklehead Media Group with Marine veteran Stephen Cologne. I was going to call him Steve. Covering all of your podcasting and media needs, from audio and video editing to strategy planning to global online distribution. This professional team of experts takes your idea and makes it a reality while providing the knowledge and experience to help you grow your audience and reach. You get their information at knucklehead.agency. And on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, look up Knucklehead MG.
All right. And so that is it. Real quick.
That's it.
Mark wanted to know how many times I've been featured in Shift. 3 times. Drink. And look. So you know I'm not bullshitting. Look at the screen. Mark asked. I was just obliging. So
Mark asked. Kat got a jar of pickled frog balls over there.
Your olives. Oh, tell her what an olive is.
Oh no, my grandmother used to tell me that this is an old lady's cherry, green with envy. Forever, my olive joke. Now.
So with that, let's go ahead and welcome our special guest for the night, CEO of the 22 Salute Vodka, Eric Ranks. Welcome,
Eric.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, well, thank you for putting up with our bullshit.
And for the bottle of booze, that always helps get you on the show.
Yes, booze always helps.
Booze helps everything.
Especially if they're good booze.
Kids problems, marriage problems, booze. Booze fixes everything. Just rub some alcohol in it, it cleans it right up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like hand sanitizer.
Yeah, like my soul is broken, so I just rub alcohol on my insides.
Aw, but you've been featured and shipped 3 times. How can your soul be broken? That doesn't even make sense.
Robert's trying to pick them back up.
I'm drinking, people. I'm drinking.
So Rob Garcia, he's gonna go back and edit me out of every one of the previous. He's like, fuck that guy.
Oh my god.
So I really want to get just in the conversation and going. So before we do that, we forget all about it. As everybody that's seen this show before knows, we're not here to get sold somebody's latest wear. We're here to learn who they are off the clock, behind the scenes, and under the influence.
Yeah.
So, but we do give everybody their due diligence and give them 3 minutes at the very beginning of each episode to tell the audience about what they want to tell them about. Let's just keep it simple. So go ahead and your 3 minutes.
Plug your shit. Now. Be shameless for the next 3 minutes.
Awesome. For the next 3 months. Or
not months.
3 minutes. It's that 3 featured in Shift Magazine that's got me thrown off.
Ah, damn it! I got a drink.
I'm CEO of 22 Salute Spirits and Coffee. It was a brand that was created as a social enterprise to fund the Veterans Connection, which is a 501(c)(3) that can even talk tonight. 501(c)(3).
Everybody's got the yips.
501
nonprofit organization I founded in 2012 to focus on veteran mental health and suicide prevention. And unfortunately, when the economy changes, goes up and down, donations kind of follow that as a trail. So 22 Salute was created as a way to self-fund that. And I'm also a published author. I co-wrote a book, Boundless Success with Eric Ranks, which talks about my life, health, and mental health issues that I've struggled my whole life, which led me down the road to starting a nonprofit. And so, there's my life is pretty fascinating with all the facets, and we won't jump into all that. But if you check out 22salute.com, social media is 22 Salute Bev Co. for beverage company, the veteransconnection.org. And you can also find out about my book at ericranks.com.
Man, you're way more professional and articulate than we are.
I don't know.
All of our guests are.
You don't belong on this fucking show. No, so if I read this correctly, mesquite smoked coffee beans. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay.
I know where you get your coffee from.
I'm sure you do.
It's sounding real familiar to us. So if it's who we think we are, we already know that we're in love with it. So
absolutely,
it's our crack. It's legal crack to us.
I didn't know that that's where you got your coffee from, but since I do, order your fucking coffee from this guy right here because you're not going to regret it.
Yep, that's where we it's wonderful Honduras coffee. That is smoked with Texas mesquite wood. So it's premium coffee. So there's different levels of coffee. We're not going to, like you said, go into a pitch, but most coffee is not considered specialty coffee, which has a score of like 80 or above on coffee quality. And his is between 83 and 87, kind of in that range. So it is the premier coffee beans for quality.
It is. And I mean, for the price, and I'm sorry, I hate to plug him. He's been on the show. I don't care. God, country, and coffee, baby.
There was 5 or 6 Texas veteran entrepreneurs, including myself, that went and helped him build his roasting house. And can
we just talk about it?
Yeah, that was why.
And it was right between 2 of my times I was featured on Shift Advanced Life Design magazine with Robert Garcia.
Have we told y'all this story of my husband trying to kill my parents with coffee?
Oh my God. Yeah. So
let me tell it. So my parents do not drink full leaded coffee. They drink half leaded max. Half leaded max, usually decaf coffee. So they came to visit us, and we had, and I'm going to say it, we had third day coffee here, of course, like we have a freezer full like usual. And we have regular, we have fully, like ultra leaded. It's like the full,
The
what is
high
that?
calf.
The half calf,
It's
the high
high calf.
calf. And we did have a half calf. So the high calf and the half calf were right next to each other in the freezer. JD pulls out the half calf for my parents, makes a pot of it. My parents take a sip of it and they're like, oh. And I was like, what? They're like, I don't know.
I misread the bag and I gave them high calf.
This is really strong.
High caffeine life roast. Yep.
Thankfully, they only took a couple of sips before they stopped drinking it. But like, he probably almost, I think he tried to kill my parents with high calf coffee when they only drink decaf. And I was like, oh shit.
Kill is such a strong word.
Expire.
Yeah,
bring into the land of the unliving.
I remember when you guys did that. You know, that was the first, probably the first and only half mission that actually happened. We went and did it. That was probably the first and only one. Like the goal was to keep doing half missions, and then it just kind of all fizzled out.
And that one, it just happened so organically. It was just a bunch of us that we were kind of in the same spots in business within.
All in Texas, which helped.
And yeah, all of us, and in one way or another, every one of us still supports each other to one degree or another, which is awesome.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I was super excited to get hats, and then you're like, oh, COVID destroyed me.
Yeah.
That's what was devastating. Yes.
But I am making hats again. If
he is making hats
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were making them
just
as a side hustle.
Yeah, it's
a
definitely
full-time
not.
job.
It'll never be full time again.
So the lead time is a little bit longer now, but hey, Southpaw's back in business.
Yeah, we got to do a cool 22 salute one.
We'll make it fucking happen.
Yes.
So, I was misinformed or misunderstood. I thought you were a dependa, but you're actually, you weren't in the military.
He thought your wife was in the military and thought you were a dependa, like living off your wife's veteran income.
No. So, but go ahead and tell your story about how you got kind of into the military into this, and you're not military or haven't ever been military yourself.
Yeah, so great. So I grew up as an Air Force dependent. So my dad served, he served in the Army during Vietnam and then transferred to Air Force. So I grew up on military bases in the military community, my whole life. And my dad was a clinical and neurological psychologist. So veteran mental health was a big piece of, me growing up and what he focused on in his career. And, I kind of alluded to, I personally have had many health struggles, both physical and mental. In fact, there was points in my life that I was personally suicidal. And, how I kind of got into this veteran work is in 2012, I had friends, a combination of friends. So before 2012, I had an older friend that served in Vietnam as well. And he had Agent Orange issues that his legs would constantly split open and all that and have to have surgeries. And back in 2012, the VA still did not cover Agent Orange claims, even though it's been years. And then I had other friends who came back from Iraq and Afghanistan with super bad PTSD issues. And between watching all of that and growing up where mental health was a big thing and dealing with my own, like, I will never say I understand what a veteran or first responder, we serve both in the nonprofit, what they go through on their PTSD side, but I understand physical and mental pain with things I've gone through.
Oh, yeah.
And so a combination of seeing what they were dealing with and not getting help. And when I understood, I left corporate America and co-founded a nonprofit and, done it very well for the last 10 years. And then I just got burned out of fundraising and the donations going up and down. And, JD and I are part of a couple of communities like the Vetrepreneur Tribe. We also met through like the Warrior Council, things like that. And I had some people in the Warrior Council that are like, hey, you thought about coffee? Hey, have you thought about alcohol? And so that's kind of what led me to the 22 Salute journey. So
it's kind of refreshing that you bring up PTSD from a non-military, non-veteran point of view.
Well, the whole first responder thing, like my dad was a firefighter and paramedic for years, and at the time, it was like, yeah, we heard stories, but they were more, comical ones and everything. It wasn't until after he retired that we really heard a lot of the nitty gritty.
He kept
So,
it very compartmentalized
I
until he was
just-
retired, and then after that point, he finally let his guard down some.
Yeah, and it's refreshing to hear those stories. It's terrifying, and I'm glad I didn't know at the time because we would have been nervous wrecks. But I can't imagine going through a fraction of what he goes through. Like, I work in a hospital that's a way more controlled environment.
During COVID, like nurses and doctors, there's mental health issues and what they had to face with people dying from COVID and stuff on a constant basis. Like, that's another community that got really stretched over the last several years.
That is very true. I worked, I went NICU fully, but I was working the front lines with COVID patients for the first 8 months when it really spiked here. And it would make me mad when I would come home and JD would be like, it's a hoax. And I was like, I am elbow deep in people dying around me every day. Don't ever fucking call it a hoax to my face. Like, I literally had a breakdown in front of JD and his family. Like, I literally had a fucking breakdown. After that, I got moved over to the NICU side where I treated, micro preemie babies, and I was left there, and I didn't have to go back to the COVID side. And it was the best thing that's ever happened to me because it wore on me so bad.
The other thing about COVID that I appreciate is I think it helps society in general understand mental health more.
Yeah.
Because people were isolated, people were dealing with their own things. Like, as a society, most people, if they weren't dealing with it or knew somebody close to it, they didn't care.
Oh,
yeah.
We can probably do 7 episodes on the psychological side effects of COVID and quarantining,
yes.
because I mean, if you think about it, like the deep-seated stuff that, especially with like the younger generations
that aren't equipped to deal with things.
Well, not only that, but when the brain is still developing certain parts, especially when you're at our oldest son's age, who's at that point where he's finding his own identity. He's hanging out with different friends here and there, not like good friends, bad friends. Just he's testing the waters in different ways, because like we all did at that age, because you got to find out who you are. So then you have, at the height of COVID, these 14 to 17-year-olds that lost that opportunity at that pivotal moment in their life to really find their true identity in
Well, actually, and it's been proven, like, I work in a children's hospital now, and they talk about it all the time, how there's a psychological delay now with toddlers and young children because they couldn't see the people's emotion on their face. So they didn't know how to react like appropriately. So it's almost like borderline autism because they're trying to figure out how to cognitively process people's facial expressions now. And it's so sad. It's like, seriously, that's a thing. Yeah, our son, he was the handwriting because they couldn't handwrite on the board because they weren't at school. So they weren't writing for kinder and first grade because
everything was on the mouse.
Homeschooled. Everything was on the computer. So their handwriting is atrocious and their spelling is atrocious. So
you can't talk about handwriting and I can't talk about spelling.
I'm not talking about handwriting.
It was COVID.
He's a psychologist, which still falls in that doctor category. And his handwriting was chicken scratch, and I adopted that whole thing. I'd like turning papers that my dad wrote. Like, I'd have to have him sign something in school because I did something wrong or something. Yeah. And no one would believe he signed it. I know that was you. That was you. But yeah, my writing is so chicken scratch.
Oh yeah.
But another thing about the PTSD though, that because I'm a veteran, everybody just assumes whenever I talk about my PTSD that it was related to veteran issues, military issues.
Yeah.
And to a very small degree, yes, I was deployed. I didn't do 90% of what a lot of these like bad motherfuckers that we have that we can call heroes and hold on a fucking pedestal because they earned it. I didn't do that shit. You know, I was downrange, but I was not a bad motherfucker. My PTSD stems from civilian life. I lost my brother in a nasty wreck. 11 months later, I lost my dad to a massive and sudden stroke. We lost a child just a few months after that, and then a few months after that, lost my uncle, who was kind of my second dad. When I ran
And
away from
then-
home in high school,
And then
you know, I
you
lived
were
in his
in a
backyard.
horrific motorcycle accident that left you with traumatic brain injury. So,
So
we just
all
had
this happened within 36 months, and just not
Yeah.
being able to, not knowing how to process it.
And who can process
And-
that much, honestly?
And I ended up putting myself in counseling at one point. My 35th birthday, I had a pistol in my mouth. When everybody else was passed out and asleep, I stayed up and I was ready to I didn't know what to do. I was depressed, but I wasn't depressed, if that makes any sense.
he was depressed. He was just, it just
Like
reverted.
clinically, I was depressed, but I didn't
He
feel
was
like
depressed,
what you think
but it
depression should
reverted
feel like.
to anger.
Yes, yeah,
It
and it still
showed
does.
itself as anger, and even though it was depression, which he still reverts back to. So when he goes through bouts of depression, it's not laying in bed, it's not sad, it's not feeling bad about himself. It's anger and not being able to process emotion without anger, without anger being a portion of it. Even any stress turns into
So and luckily I was a huge failure, and I couldn't commit suicide, right? And so I'm still here. So thank God for being a failure. Yeah.
yay quitters. Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Lilac follow through.
like I said, I had some of those times as well, and you know, military life is actually a very interesting one. You know, maybe this will be kind of a topic that will frustrate some people, but there's a big like, you look at exactly what you just said, and I don't know if my lighting is getting darker, but
I can
like,
still see you. You're still
said
handsome as fuck.
you said yours, you know, didn't come from necessarily your service side.
Yes.
There's a big group of military people that their PTSD shows after their military service, but they actually had a lot of trauma before they entered service.
And that's probably it's
I agree with that.
It's compounded by their
Yeah.
military service, which made it come out. But
Yeah.
the trauma that actually started that happened prior to their service.
so they broke your brain, and then you just amplified it.
My brain's been bad for a long time.
It's a bad brain. It's a bad brain.
No, I was actually reading. It wasn't an article that
It's
you
Abby
made,
someone.
but you made a big post about that the other
Babe,
day. I was actually reading
Babe,
that.
your brain is
It's Abby
someone.
Abby normal. Yes. But yeah, you'd actually posted that. I found that pretty intriguing that a lot of the trauma happens before, and it's like the deep-seated regressive type stuff that nobody even pinpoints until later on in life when they go through tons of therapy.
And it's not just shown in PTSD. Like, one thing I learned from my dad that was interesting. Well, I learned a lot of things from my dad that was interesting. But one of them was, like, there were so many people who had these different health problems that doctors could never figure out. Oh, you've got this. Oh, you've got that. But nothing would ever solve and fix it. But when he would focus on, like, the trauma through their life, all those other health problems would go away. Didn't matter what the doctors threw at it. Oh, you've got this illness. You got this, you know. But it's actually just the way the body is trying to deal with, you know, the different trauma that they have in their body. The other thing that's really fascinating, and this is not part of the PTSD conversation, but it's just a fascinating thing around, like, what I was just saying about how your body does. This one thing my dad told me. So I have been through, oh God, a lot of surgeries in my life, a lot. And there's a lot of research, which people don't realize. There's a lot of research that when you have surgery, even though you're completely out, like, you don't know what's going on, your brain remembers the trauma.
The trauma.
Surgery,
it does.
and
Mhm.
people actually are different after the surgery. You don't
That is
realize
true.
it because it's subtle changes each time.
Yeah.
But your brain remembers all that trauma from the surgery, and you actually have changed as a person. You just don't know you did.
Yeah, that's actually true. So basically, we're numbing the body, but the brain still responds to the pain to some degree, and it, like, compartmentalizes it. And that is a proven fact. So there are those that have gone through several surgeries due to cancer that have to go through therapy afterwards because they can't cope and don't know why. They should be happier because the cancer's gone. Why do I feel this way? And they found out that that's why, that the more surgeries you have, yes, we can numb the pain and we can basically put you to sleep, but the brain doesn't completely shut off. So the brain is basically thinking you're being tortured. Is basically what it equates to, and
people don't realize.
Okay, this is all news to me.
It creates deep-seated trust issues. Apparently, is like what they're finding. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
because you're just putting me to sleep. No, you're gonna cut me open, and it like
one of my biggest phobias is anesthesia.
Feeling everything and being
the anesthesia itself, going under.
You want me to tell you a scary surgery?
Fucking hate it.
Please.
This is a scary surgery. This really happened to me. Luckily, if I did wake up, I'll tell you the story. Luckily, if I did wake up, they gave me enough Versed that I don't remember what happened.
Oh.
But so I was having surgery. I've had a lot of GI surgeries and stuff, and I get super sick on anesthesia. And so the surgeon didn't want to give me put me out normally because they were worried I'd get sick and rip all the stitches they were doing inside. And so as they didn't tell me this until they were wheeling me down the hall. They're wheeling me down the hall and they say, hey, by the way, we don't feel comfortable putting you out the way we normally put people out. So we're going to put this band around your head, try to watch your biofeedback waves and determine whether you're asleep or not. But we will have no idea if you wake up. They're like, all we're going to do is just watch what's going on in this band. So they're wheeling me down and they're telling me I might be awake while they're doing this surgery. That was the scariest moment.
No, knock me the fuck out. I don't care. I literally told JD, I was like, if our baby gets to 10 pounds, I'm fucking out. Like, knock me out, cut me open. I don't give a fuck. I mean, our biggest was 8'9", so that's close enough. But still, I was like, no. So I do have a question for you. This is going to get real personal. So you had leukemia, is that correct?
I did have leukemia around 5 years old.
So do you think that the long-term effects of that is what led to your inevitable like depression and?
I don't know. I never sat and thought about like correlate. I do know that I don't know if it's necessarily tied to leukemia per se, but through, and I'm going to turn up my light because it did change. Okay. Is that better? My light started going green.
I don't know. I've seen your sexy face the whole time. So
I've got Hughes lighting and it goes to all kinds of colors. Like it tries to change with the sunset. And so I'm like, everything's going green. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that way. I mean, I know that I've dealt with multiple, like leukemia was just part of it. I mean, I've had internal bleeding that it took doctors over 3 weeks to stop. They couldn't stop. It actually got transferred from one hospital to another because the first one couldn't do it after 2 weeks. They transferred another. It took them another week. I've had a ruptured esophagus that has a less than 50% survival rate to the surgery. My surgeon, when he did it, was only his second time he'd seen it in over 40 years.
I don't want to hear that.
Like, I just had one thing after another. Like, so when I say that I've dealt with physical and mental, like it's really true. Like I've been down roads that most people haven't. And I mean, I thank God every day that I'm still here. I feel like, that's what drove me to really want to give back is like, I feel like I have a higher purpose. Like otherwise I wouldn't be here today.
Well, yeah. Internal bleeding. I mean, you're talking about exploratory surgery. Like we don't know where it's coming from. So we're just going to open you up and we're going to look around and poke around and find out. I mean, that in and of itself has killed more people than anything is because they just cut you open to figure out where the bleeding's coming from. A lot of times they don't make it through the surgery because it's, they wind up nicking something when they're in there. They can't find it. They close you back up. Then you wind up infected worse than you were before. And yeah, that in and of itself is dangerous.
Yeah, it was not pleasant. And I'm not exaggerating. I had 4 to 5, and it was a combination of 2, 4 to 5 endoscopies and colonoscopies every day for 3 weeks.
Oh no!
4 to 5 a day.
They went both
Yes.
ends. Did
Yes,
they meet
they
in the
take me
middle
out,
and like
And
shake
then they put me
hands?
back in.
Did they like high five and Eiffel
Yeah,
Tower you?
Did they
Stop
shake
bleeding.
hands?
They
And
couldn't
then like,
stop it, so they kept reeling me back in, and finally, and so anybody who's ever got a colonoscopy knows how bad, like nasty that stuff is.
Did you have to drink that magnesium
Oh
citrate?
yeah, let me tell you that
oh, the
story.
go lightly. Yes.
Yeah, it's not go lightly.
No, you go violently.
So I'm internally bleeding. So if you're internally bleeding, what comes out the other end is not going to be clear.
Oh no.
So I have
And
this
it
doc-
smells
I had this
terrible.
doctor who made
and-
me drink gallons and gallons of this stuff. She's like, it's still not clear. I finally I got super angry. I'm like, it's never gonna be clear. I'm bleeding. I can't drink any more of this stuff. And so finally she's like, well, if I drop a penny in the toilet, will you be able to tell there's a penny in there? And I said yes. She's like, okay, we'll deal with that. Because literally, she made me drink gallons and gallons. Just keep going and going. And she's like, it's not clear yet. Keep
And normally you drink what, like
just a
8
little,
ounces or
little
something?
jar of it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like 8-10 ounces, something
So
like
I will
that.
I couldn't drink lemonade for a long time after that.
So I will tell you this, like GI bleeds, just in general. Okay, this is gonna be nasty, and I'm sorry, but just from a medical
You're
standpoint,
not sorry.
one of the worst smells that people talk about is burning flesh, right? Everyone hears this, burning flesh. So rotting flesh, like waterlogged bodies, number one for me, absolutely 110%. Burned bodies is third. Second is GI bleed. The smell of a GI bleed makes me physically nauseous. It is very distinctive. It is not pleasant. And I can smell it from a mile away now because I've been in the medical field for 18 years. So I can smell it a mile away. And it's one of those things where they're like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, don't apologize. Like, it is not your fault.
You know what
But
you did.
every time I don't think
Apologetic.
I don't think I'm reacting, but my face gives me away every time. So I'm like, it's fine. It's no big deal. I can barely smell it. But it's like, oh man, I'm sure every time my face gives me away. But I try not to, damn it.
So I want to address something real quick. Chaz, who's watching right now, says that he was on submarines, and sometimes this is digressing back a little bit in the conversation, where he feels like he didn't serve because he was never in an actual war zone. I know there's a lot of like bro vets that are like, oh, you're not a fucking veteran unless you did it. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Everybody that raised their right hand.
Sure, everyone put their life on the line. I mean, there's people who die
If you were the
during
guy
basic
that
training. So shut the.
If you're the guy that hands out towels at the gym, you
Good
still
for you.
raised your fucking right hand.
Good for you.
And he served more than I did, but and people will disagree with me, but military families, the whole family serves. You're moving all the time. I literally went to 4 high schools in 4 years. Like,
oh yeah,
you move all
it.
the time. You have family members that are away. You have the whole family serves. Now,
That's
did
true.
we serve in wartime?
No.
And did I serve the same as you on a submarine? No, but you served more than I did. But even the family served as well.
That's true. That's true. They all contributed. They all sacrificed to some degree. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, not everyone agree with me, which is fine. We can live in a world of polarization, but
my opinion is the only one that counts, and fuck everybody else. But I've got a surgical story. It was actually in the military.
Oh no, not this one.
I was stationed in at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's a shithole. Yeah, but to digress.
Let me
To digress.
with the fact that it was fucked up.
But I had a real sore throat, so I went to the ER because in your military.
The story I thought you were going to talk about. Hey, you can talk about the testicle story.
Oh no, we'll talk about that one later.
Oh, okay.
But I went to the ER because they don't have like regular urgent care or anything like that. You just, if it's after normal duty hours, you go to the ER. And doctor's like, hey, you got strep throat. Gave me a shot of penicillin, some antibiotics to send me on my way. And like 2 days later, my best friend at the time, actually still one of my best friends to this day, 20 some odd years later, he's carrying me into the ER because I can't breathe and my lips are starting to turn blue. And Come to find out there was a cyst that grew in my esophagus, right there in my air, like right on where your Adam's apple is, but on the backside. And it was closing off my airway. And the doctor comes in, he gets his little popsicle stick and sticks it on my tongue and looks down my throat. And he's like, and I shit you not, he goes, "Oh shit. There's 2 words you don't want to hear a fucking ER doctor say, and they are in this order, oh and shit."
Yeah.
And so he promptly leaves the room after saying nothing but "oh shit." So here I am fucking greasing my drawers. And he comes back like 2 or 3 minutes later with
lubricating them with shit.
Yes, yeah. I threw up from my ass in my pants. So he comes back with like this whole squad of fucking nurses and various ancillary medical people. And he looks at me square in the eyes and says, "We don't have time for anesthetic. We're going to go into surgery right now." As they're tying my arms down with gauze rolls and shit like this. I'm flipping the fuck out. And he grabs my jaw, holds it open, sticks the tongue depressor in there, goes in there with a scalpel and just goes, slices that cyst right open. And that little sucker straw that they have like at the dentist office, that thing's in my mouth, and it just starts sucking all this shit out. And it was like almost instant relief as far like it fucking hurt, but it was like instantly I could breathe again, which was really nice. And then 4 days later is when I started smoking menthol cigarettes versus Marlboro Lights. That's a whole different story.
I haven't had anyone say that to me, but I did have.
Does that have
When my
anything to do with
esophagus
this?
ruptured, when that happened, the doctor. So first that happened. So my esophagus ruptured in 2019. So this is even more recent.
Oh wow, that's recent.
2019. So I'm in there, and at this time, 2019. We're in this whole country thing of nobody can have opioids. We're all keeping hospitals away from opioids. So I'm sitting in there with a ruptured esophagus in the ER, massive pain, massive amount of pain. Now, I have a super high pain tolerance. So when I say it's massive pain, it's really bad pain. And and at first I didn't want to do anything about it. Like I literally drove past my hospital, the ER. Like I left work. I'm like, I'm not feeling well. Left, drove. And then finally found like a little Instacare. I'm like, oh, I'll just stop there. I'll be in and out. And then they made me go in an ambulance back to the ER that I passed. So then I paid like $900 to go back to the ER that I just driven past.
Shit.
But anyway, so I'm sitting there. They won't give me any pain medicine at all. Like, sorry, you're fine. Like, we're not going to do anything. Finally, after some x-rays, the surgeon comes running in. He's like, he gave me pain medicine. He came running, give him pain medicine immediately. But then you told your story. He says mine that I didn't want to hear is he literally said, "This surgery is complicated. You might not make it." I didn't want to hear that. He's like, "This is a very complicated surgery. You might not make it."
Shit.
And my poor mother. So my dad died like a month and a half before that.
Oh Jesus.
And then my mom was then at the hospital being told by the doctor, "Hey, your son has a good chance won't make it through the night." So, like, I feel bad for my mom. She got double whammy, like, right in a row.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was not a fun time.
And it's crazy.
I was in the hospital for 10 days after the surgery because my surgeon kept saying, "You're gonna have some kind of complication. I'm not releasing you. You're gonna have a complication."
That was Nolan. Remember?
And of course there were none, huh?
No complications. Finally, after 10 days, like, all right, I'll let you go home.
They said Nolan, well, our youngest was in the NICU for 3 weeks. And at one point he was like, he's either going to like these antibiotics are going to work and the sepsis is going to go away or he's going to die. And basically we won't know until tomorrow. So don't touch him. The next day he came in and he was worse. And he's like, go ahead and touch him. Give him kisses. Tell him goodbye. Like he literally told us to give him kisses and hold his hand because it didn't matter anymore. Like, call your family, let them know. We're like, are you fucking serious? Like, just right there to our faces, basically told us our baby was going to die. And he didn't. And he's 7 now. So suck it.
Yeah, suck it, Doc.
And the second story I want to say
Actually, the
was
whole medical staff was really good.
Recently, I had to have an endoscopy. I was having difficulty swallowing, and they were concerned that I was getting.
You probably hated that.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we think you're getting Barrett's disease, which is where it like breaks down your esophagus. You can get like esophageal cancer. So they wanted to go in with the camera and just take a look and get biopsies. The biopsies were fine. It was the fact that I did not really do well with anesthesia. So when I came to, they were wheeling me to the room and there was like 7 people walking with me. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, well, there you are. And I go, did I go somewhere? He goes, well, you tried. He's like, you kind of tried to go to heaven. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, we kind of had to bag you and we almost started CPR. And I was like, what? He said that I guess they had just given me the anesthetic and I just stopped breathing and then my heart rate started dropping rapidly. So they basically had to reverse the anesthetic really quickly so that I'd start breathing again. And I was like, oh shit. But I don't remember a fucking thing, which is great. But yeah, but the biopsies were fine.
They were fine. It's funny that you brought up the whole opioid thing, because I had the exact opposite. Like, I know I have a highly addictive personality, and I know to steer clear of certain things because otherwise I won't steer clear of certain things. And during my motorcycle wreck, or right after my motorcycle wreck, that noise, if you're listening and not watching, is Kat shaking her martini
with 22 Salute vodka.
With 22 Salute vodka. It's vodka with a purpose.
I can't even get that freaking lid off.
But so number one, narcotic pain meds make me sick. They make me sick to my stomach. And being wheeled after being taken to the ambulance to the ER, being wheeled through countless hallways, I'm kind of in and out of consciousness, severe head injuries, other injuries. But I vividly remember telling the nurse, don't give me any narcotic pain meds. They make me nauseous.
Are you talking about after your
and she was like,
accident?
Yeah. And she's like, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're in shock. You don't know what's going on. I'm like, no, they make me sick. Don't give me any narcotic pain meds. And so she's like, no, you'll be just fine. Let me do what I got to do. I'm the professional. And they already had an IV in it this time. And it has that little spot where you can just put a needle in it and shoot. Well, she shot me up with some narcotics and I looked straight at her and I'm pretty sure that all of my mental wounds healed for this brief moment, just so I can look at her spitefully and puke all over her because I told her at least 3 times not to fucking give me narcotic pain meds. And I vomited all over her. And I felt so vindicated. And then I passed out.
Well, the reason he passed out, just so everyone's clear, because this fuckhead doesn't remember, but I remember everything. It's because he had a seizure. He had a massive brain bleed because of the trauma to his left, like
this whole side,
not frontal lobe, but like that whole side of his head. And he wound up having a massive seizure. So that is about the time they had to start giving him anti-seizure medication and giving him some medication to basically keep him sedated because
but even after all the surgeries and on my road to recovery, it was a constant battle with medical professionals who were trying to peddle opioids on me. And I had to fight them every single time. I'm like, I don't want an opioid. I don't want a narcotic.
This guy threatened everyone. He threatened his surgeon mid-surgery. It was hilarious.
I told him if they shaved my beard that they would be in the hospital bed next to me.
Yeah. Those doctors, but they loved him for it. That's what's so funny. They weren't even scared. They didn't even care. They were like,
it's just weird. Like normally, like if a patient says, I don't want an opioid, you would think the doctor would be like, all right, cool. I get it.
Going through something that they were pretty sure your body couldn't handle.
Yeah, but still, I don't want fucking opioids because I know I get addicted easily, and why put myself in that position to go back to the other shit I used to do?
Yeah, I get sick on Loratab. I can take like Percocet, but I can't do Loratab. I have a super high pain tolerance, so I don't generally take anything.
Loratab doesn't do shit for me.
Yeah.
I don't usually take anything. What's that one I'm thinking of that everybody like fentanyl, that doesn't help me. Like
I will never do Demerol again. I'll tell you what. I had Demerol right before so I have very complicated pregnancies. Well, one time I was in preterm labor and I had to have emergency surgery to like sew up my cervix, keep our baby in. And they gave me Demerol to help with the pain. And I had the most horrific nightmares on Demerol to the point where I remember them to this day. And it traumatized me to the point that I have like put it on every medical record. I'm allergic to Demerol. I'm not allergic to Demerol. I don't want Demerol ever again. It is that bad. So good for you if you can take Demerol, not this bitch. No.
I literally, they give it to me and I don't end up using the pain medicine. I'll tell you how high my pain tolerance is.
That's him.
Yeah, I'll save them for a rainy day.
This will tell you how high it is. So when let's see, this was probably 97. Because I graduated in 96. So it was a little after graduation.
You're fucking old.
You graduated in 97. Shut the fuck up.
I was in a super bad car accident and broke my femur. And I call my mom and I'm like, just as calm as day, call my mom. And she's working at this home health agency with a bunch of nurses and stuff. And I call my mom and I'm like, hey mom, broke my femur, meet me at the hospital. But other than that, I'm okay. And these nurses are like listening in the background. They're like, he's lying. They're like, he's calm. My mom's like, yeah, he's really calm. He's lying. He did not break his femur. I'm like, no, mom, I broke my femur. They're like, no, they're saying you're lying because you're calm as day.
Exactly.
Like,
that's not.
I had to make a similar
like
phone call like that.
The amount of like bone marrow and everything that's released in your bloodstream when you break a large bone, you can actually die from that.
I didn't know about that, but I know that I could have died.
And your white blood cells are actually formed in your large bones, which means that femur you broke in half. It's actually diminishing your white blood cell count, which means you're not going to fight infections as easy, and you could die from that.
Yeah, we're trained. We're trained.
So your body knows that is a vital part of your body. So it causes more pain when you break a large bone. So your body knows it needs to fix it faster. And you know you need to fix it faster, just like hitting an artery versus a vein. The arteries are surrounded by nerves.
Yeah, what I did that was that I could have killed myself from that is like all my buddies and stuff that were there were like, dude, get out of the car, get out of there. So I was trying to move, but because of the bone, was actually wedged against my major artery, and so the EMT people are like, if you'd moved it even just the slightest more, you'd have bled to death.
Oh, they're like, it would have ruptured the artery.
Everybody's like, come on, get out of the car. So I'm like pulling my leg, like trying to get out of this vehicle. Ah! And then they're like, dude, you could have killed yourself so fast. You're like, it was literally against your artery, your major artery.
Hey, on behalf of all of our viewers, fuck.
And the viewers are like, we didn't tune in to get this medical podcast.
But
so I had to make a similar call to my mom in high school. It was my senior year. It was in 97. I had skipped school. And yeah, I really am. Turn around is fair play.
Shut up.
So
I like
my senior year, I only had like 3 classes or 4 classes. I don't know why it even made sense for me to skip because I was out before lunch anyways if I did go to school. But I skipped school this one day.
I married that.
And I was with several of my stoner buddies because that's what I like to do in high school.
I married that.
Smoke weed because that was cool. Yeah. But we were smoking weed and all of us rode dirt bikes, and we, in our brilliant minds, decided to make this really cool ramp out of cinder blocks and found plywood, not even new plywood, just shit we found. And are there any nails or screws or baling wire or anything holding this together? Nope. You know what's holding it together? Gravity.
Okay.
So we were finding out who could jump the farthest and who could jump the highest off this ramp. And I went off after like the 5th or 6th time, and it just collapsed. The front wheel was off the ramp already. The back wheel was still on it. Of course, I wasn't wearing a helmet because I was a fucking idiot. And I skid on my face for I don't know how long, because it that was probably my third or fourth concussion of my life. And
All right.
I come to with a rag against my face, and the dude trying to hand me a joint, and I'm just like, no, I'm all fucked up, man.
Okay.
And then so I'm having to call my mom to explain why my face is all fucked up and why I can't drive home and why I'm not in school. So it's not quite the femur situation, but still having to make a fucked up phone call.
Eric and JD, this is why women live longer. Yeah, dumbasses.
No. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. I'm a fucking tank at
That's
this
just
point.
what we tell you to make you feel better, you dumbasses. Like, it's like telling you size doesn't matter. We're just trying to make you feel better.
So when by my senior year, I actually was not skipping class, and I'll tell you why. My parents were geniuses. So my freshman year, I was skipping a lot of school, and we were living in Idaho, and I had grandparents that lived in Utah, and my parents were like, "Well, if you're not going to school, we're just going to send you to live with your grandparents." So I went up there, and my grandpa was a genius. He's like, "I know how to get this kid back in school." And so my grandpa's like, "Hey, I got you a job that you have to go to every day." So he gets me this job, and this is the worst job in the whole world. It did get me back in school. I literally worked at a silk ribbon factory, winding fucking silk ribbon around spools for 8 hours a day.
I love this.
Less than a month. I called my parents like, "I'm coming home. I'm going to school." My grandpa's like,
"I'll make straight B's, I promise."
Don't graduate. That's the only kind of job you'll get.
I fucking love it. Genius. Oh my gosh. Yes. Child labor. Let's bring it back, y'all.
Fuck yeah. I am all about child labor.
Child labor.
It was the worst job I've had in my whole life. And it was a bunch of like old ladies and
I love it.
So it's you?
Oh my gosh. So it's you and a bunch of old ladies just spinning yarn, literally. I love it. Literally. I love it so much.
So one of our viewers brings in a ER comment. Mark says, "I don't have a broken bone story. Been fortunate, never broken a bone in my body." You better knock on wood, because the day I said that, the next day is when I had my first broken bone. But he called his wife from the hospital, calm as day, and told her not to panic, but I was in the ER and was having a major heart attack and had already called my buddy to go pick her up and bring her to the hospital. Got a stent put in, and doctor told me I was lucky. The artery on the right side of my heart was 99% blocked. Jesus.
Right side.
I'm glad you're here, Mark.
Right side. That means it's going to your freaking lungs, you dumbass. Like, seriously, Mark, I love you, but...
I didn't know that, but I trust her.
Right goes to the heart. Left pumps all that oxygenated blood to the body. So just in case y'all didn't know, medical fact of the day, bitches. You're going to learn a lot on this show.
And that I learned in my I'm first responder trained for work. I work at a steel mill, and they teach us all this shit. But they did teach us. Has
gone through one first responder class and he thinks he knows just.
I've been through a lot more. Why do you think I'm fucking there so goddamn much? But one thing they do teach us is any long bone break, like femurs, don't fucking move the person. Wait for a trained medical professional.
Because you're gonna pinch your artery like Eric did.
You don't move long bone breaks. All we do.
Eric, take the class.
Because as a medical first responder there at the mill, our job is to just stabilize until the nurse gets there.
Real medical professionals.
We're there to just.
Yes, thank you.
We're there to just hold you together until somebody can.
On the half of all medical professionals, just don't fucking touch them, okay?
No, I actually had to. I had to pull out the AED at work the other day. I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm getting ready to have to fucking shock somebody."
My God. JD
like that.
is dying to shock someone or stab them with a needle.
Oh, before I die, these are my goals. I want to defib somebody, just so I can say clear and shock the shit out of them, and I want to give somebody an epi shot because just like the sharp.
Hi,
downward.
Your reason for living over here. Would you be mad if you knew I've done both of those?
Yeah, I get fucked.
Okay, then I won't tell you.
I mean, she's been in that field for like 18 years. I think you've probably done more.
I'm kind of expect you've done that shit, but
that the clear more than anything. I was shocked by this point. I don't know how many people, but no, I've never like stabbed someone in the chest like you see in Pulp Fiction. I've never done that. No, unfortunately. I have stabbed someone with an EpiPen to save them from anaphylaxis. I have done that before. But not often. Usually it's the nurse or the doctor doing that. But I've had to do it. I did it at asthma camp once.
And
So-
thanks to the cost of
you
EpiPens,
go.
now they keep them in the nurse's office. So if somebody's having anaphylactic shock on the deck, it's if you sprint the whole time, you're looking at 8 minutes there and 8 minutes back.
people die.
That's 16 minutes. Yeah.
Do y'all know what a noxic brain injury is? It's lack of oxygen to the brain. You can get that in 8 minutes. So that's stupid. Just hi, not a nurse. That's dumb.
We have come to a very, very sad time, though.
Yeah, lack of oxygen. Oh.
This lack of vodka.
Lack of vodka.
Sad.
I am out of
You
vodka.
have a full one behind you, you
Look at
dick.
I'm like-
Oh, I got cases of it.
How dare you? We have like one
Ooh,
bottle.
I'm so cool. I have cases of vodka. Get fucked. We're out. We are out of vodka.
So
God
you
dang
know
it.
the problem is, JD allowed me to take this to the beach the other day, and I
She went hog
really
wild.
could have hurt. it.
I mean, I unfortunately don't live by a beach, but we just got back from Costa Rica last week, and I've got some beautiful pictures with our vodka on the beach in Costa Rica,
Okay, one. Where do you live?
Utah.
Oh, okay. Two, I've never been out of the country because this guy doesn't take me anywhere. I would love to go to Costa Rica though. And three, you're more than welcome to come to Corpus Christi. Come to our beaches. They're not nearly as beautiful as Costa Rica.
Or the river.
But you
Yeah,
could
go to the
probably get herpes there, which is fun.
Or you
One
can
of
step on a diabetic needle.
One of my co-founders, there's three of us. One of them, he has a Airbnb he owns in Corpus.
Well, we own a 3,100 square foot house.
Yeah, you got a place to stay.
Corpus, and we have a. Our son has a queen size bed that he has to give up anytime we say he does.
It was our
Stay for
bedroom set before we
free.
upgraded. So we're like, all right, you get this one, but there's a caveat.
There's a pirate ship in Port A right down the road, and we can go on a pirate cruise. And have
Actually,
a
that
good
pirate
time.
ship is fucking cool.
It is so much fun.
So
I need to go to Corpus. I haven't been there, and I haven't been to. What's the one by Houston? Oh, Galveston. I haven't either.
Galveston.
going to the
I've
Strand.
never been to Galveston. So if we go to, if
I
you
haven't
go to,
been in
well, but you've been.
a
Right?
long time. I don't remember.
I
I've
lived in
been there, but I
Dallas.
don't
I
remember.
didn't go to either of those places.
Yeah, we also like to. So we live on a beach. We vacation at rivers. So we actually go and float the river in the hill country of Texas because that's how it works in Texas. You live by a river, you go to the beach to vacation. If you live by the beach, you go to a river to vacation. So we just swap ski during the summer. So that's our plan is to go to the river and go float. And you're more than welcome to join us for that.
That sounds fun.
Because it was a pleasure having you. I'd love to meet your wife. So you said no kids. Is kids in the future? Are y'all cool?
Unfortunately, not. No, we both have battled some health things that kind of prevented that. But we have a dog, so that's our kid.
What
So
kind of
you
dog?
have kids then. Yeah.
It's a golden retriever. So
All right, at least it's not some piece of shit little.
no,
Tiny
every
yappy
dog we've
thing.
ever owned is that we usually get labs, and then our lab passed away less than a year ago with meningitis. I didn't even know dogs got meningitis.
I
Say what?
didn't know that either.
We left it at a boarding facility when we were doing a 22 salute event out of state. Came back to our dog getting meningitis while it was at that boarding facility, and it passed away. Like
Wow.
we came home and just started having mass seizures and passed away. And then we're like, oh man, we're not getting another dog because it's so hard on us.
Wow.
And then we found this dog that we weren't even trying to get a dog where our dog is trained as a service dog. Like they spent thousands to get it professionally trained. But the poor girl, like that had the dog, she was in nursing school, working at a hospital, and the dog just sat in a kennel the whole time. So
Yeah.
she's like, I just need someone to take this dog. I know I put a lot of money into it and everything. And I'm like,
if
I wasn't
anyone's-
gonna get a dog, but we'll take it.
If
That is
anyone's
amazing.
watching who wants a dog, we found a puppy in a parking lot. We brought it home. It's a border collie. They need a lot of attention. JD and I work a lot, and our kids are in school. Like, it is not optimal
Free
for
to go
this
home.
poor dog. He is so sweet, and we feel so bad, but we just don't have the attention for him. So if anyone's watching, same thing. Like, we have a German Shepherd, and she lost her sister. We had 2 German Shepherds. We've had them for 10 years. We lost one recently, which was devastating for us. So we have another German Shepherd, and she's perfect, and she's fine because she literally sleeps all day. But this border
Super chill.
collie needs attention, and we don't have it, and we don't. And we feel so bad for this little guy because we're like, dude, it's either him in a kennel all day, or we have to like close him off to the backyard all day. And we feel so bad. We feel like we're neglecting him, and it's such a sad point. Oh, wow, you're going to play me off when I'm talking about something so sad?
Yeah, well, it is
So
that
If
time.
anyone wants a border collie, tell me. Oh my God. That is the worst time to play me off.
You were the one that kind of had me point at it. So I
Not
was,
like that. Man, I feel bad. Okay, depressing point. There's a dog we can't take care of.
so
He just needs love.
Eric, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the vodka. We're definitely ordering some more. It's going to be
This
at
shit is good.
22salute.com.
If I can drink it with just a little bit of olive juice, this shit's good.
And that bottle. You don't want to throw it. Look at it's empty, but look how beautiful that thing is.
It's so pretty. We're going to put
Actually,
it up on the shelf.
It's going to
Put it
go
up
right
on the
here.
shelf.
It's going to stay up here.
The shelf of honor. The shelf O honor. That's what it is.
So real fast before you cut it off, that we've talked about really the beginning about a lot about mental health and PTSD.
Yeah, tip
Yes.
of the iceberg.
I challenge you to find another brand who's taking that to retail shelves, liquor stores, bars, who's bringing that conversation to the general public. Mental health, suicide prevention.
Ooh,
Talk about it. We're taking it full on to the public and bringing that awareness everywhere.
that's valid. I don't think we can find
Well,
another.
I don't think we've covered everything we need to cover with you. I would like to
actually
formally invite you to come back
we
for another
have-
episode.
Yeah,
Dallas?
you didn't even hear my embarrassing story.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Oh, we got to get to that.
This guy steals tip jars, and we didn't even talk about it.
Jesus. Stupid, serious shit getting
He
in.
fucking steals tip jars like randomly.
Not on
and, like,
purpose.
So yeah, I want to formally invite you back just so I can hear that story because Kat wouldn't let me read the backstory on
He
that.
did- you did
we
snap your
totally
phone
got
pretty
on
fast.
PTSD and it just ran. Which we are going to have you back. There's a Dallas Poor who wants to have a honest conversation about PTSD. So I'd love to have you back, Eric. And when we do, I'm going to put in the notes that we have to hear about your stealing from the honest American service workers and stealing their tip jars. So we got to hear about this and maybe even have you back individually.
Absolutely. But with that, we do have to call it a night. Thank you very much, Eric, for coming. Make sure you go
Thank
to
you so
22salute.com. Check out the coffee, check out the vodka, check out the mission. It's great shit. As always, thank you to all of our sponsors. Make sure you check out all of our old episodes on YouTube and any of your favorite podcasting platforms. Don't forget to like, share, and tickle that subscribe button's little taint there. Just
Finger
like,
blast. Give it that old turkey curtain smack. I don't
Turkey
even know.
curtain
I
smack?
don't know. I just
What the
give up.
fuck is that?
Terrible.
Oh, it's so
terrible.
good.
That's what you
But,
get after 3 martinis. That's a turkey curtain
As always, if you plan on going out to drink or if you are out drinking, make sure that you find a sober ride home.
Please,
Stay
or
where you're
gonna
at.
go home with that girl
Uber.
you're sitting next to.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
go home with her.
So we'll see you here next week at the same beer time, same beer channel. Love you all. You
Same
have a great
drunk
night.
time, same drunk channel.
Thank you so much.